For me, it's extremely important that you practice as much as possible. That's why I'm going to show you how you can create this type of video from start to finish, completely free and in under 5 minutes. Often, we see tutorials that are pretty complicated, with settings all over the place, connecting things together, for example on N8N. Whereas manually, you can already get some really interesting results, very easily, without necessarily paying. That's why we're going to get straight to the point. So, we're going to see how to create a prompt that will allow us to generate a highly optimized image with a character that looks like us, and then reuse the look-alike character in a video. We're going to animate it, of course, thanks to artificial intelligence, and see how we can imagine camera movements. So then you might say to yourself, okay, now I know how to create videos like this. I can then use it in music videos, I can use it in advertisements. I can even imagine, for example, stories, movies, or miniseries. Let me remind you as well, you don't need to buy prompts. In fact, that's something I strongly encourage you not to do. Here's what you should do, very simply, to get quality prompts. I'm on ChatGPT, and I'm just going to ask, in English, to create a prompt that lets me generate a video in the Pixar style, for example, of a rabbit eating currants. And as you can see, I wasn't exactly gentle with the AI. I spoke to it in French, I made a spelling mistake, and I didn't even specify which artificial intelligence I was talking about. The AI understands your request very well when it's simple. Here, you could improve it by saying, I'm going to use, for example, this or that artificial intelligence to then generate my image. But very often, on the internet, you'll see people trying to sell you 600 prompts, 1,000 prompts, which are really just mass-produced and haven't actually been tested by anyone. Honestly, don't stress about it. If you need a prompt, just ask the AI to create one for you. It's the AI itself that knows, right then and there, at that exact moment, what's the best way to talk to it. And here, you see, I get a prompt that's in English. Why am I doing it in English? Because, by default, AIs are trained in English, so we speak to it in its own language. So, you can see that I have a pretty detailed prompt for this part. We see the description with the Pixar style. For example, it says the rabbit is actually holding some currants. And then, we also talk about the animation. Even if you're creating a still image, it's important to mention the perspective or the animation you're envisioning, simply to give a sense of movement and to make it clear to the AI, for example, that your character should be in a certain position or performing a specific action. That way, you end up with a character that's in a dynamic pose. And in fact, we generally don't use characters in a static pose if we want to animate them later. This prompt will help us show you that we can generate an image from it that we can then animate, but also that we can use this prompt directly in certain artificial intelligences to generate video from text. So I went to Leonardo, where you get free credits every day that let you generate this kind of images right here. The only thing I did was go to image creation and enter the prompt we just saw. So we end up with several results that are really nice and well defined. We're going to download these images and animate them. And then, we move on to this AI, ElioAI. Similarly, here, you don't need to pay to try it out and generate lots of results. You get free credits, so we'll be able to compare the output of two things. Remember, we created a prompt just before. I gave the prompt to Leonardo and it generated these images for me. I also want to show you a comparison if I give the prompt directly to the AI that generates videos. For example, here I gave the exact same prompt we just saw, and it generated this 5-second video loop for me. And honestly, the result is pretty good. Then I thought, I'll just change one word, for example, and adjust the camera movement. And as you can see, here too, the result is pretty good. The big issue with this, generating a video directly from a prompt, is that you don't really have control over the style. You can see it here, the rabbit looks like this, and you can clearly see the details of the fur. Here as well, but look, this time it's a bit more brown. In the background too, there are some nice glows, and a certain shade of green is used. And here, you can see there are a lot fewer details, and it's a different green that's being used. The most important thing when you're creating video like this is always to have something consistent. That's why I showed you Leonardo just before, which will generate images for us, and we could easily give it the images each time to generate the same style. So, after logging into ElioAI, you go to Image to Video, take the images generated by Leonardo, put them here, and then click the button there to generate your video. And here is a result that I find pretty incredible. So, as you can see, with this AI, there's very little distortion. You can clearly see that all the details, like the whiskers, the fur, and so on, nothing disappears and the movements look pretty natural. So, the idea is to animate these different videos and then use artificial intelligence to imagine creating a little story by stitching them together one after another. And as you may have noticed, there are different camera movements in the result I showed you. That's actually a pretty interesting feature. So, you take the image and put it right here. Either you generate and let the AI do whatever it wants, or you use the specific model and you have a little camera here. And with this camera, you'll have different options available to you. For example, if I choose this camera movement here, that specific movement will be applied to the main character. The one I used earlier on the rabbit, where you see the camera moving upward, that's this one. And in the very first video, I also used this one to circle around the main character, with the bird dropping the currents. So, when you click on the camera option, it will add the parameter you see right here, and below that, you can also describe additional things, actions that should happen specifically in this image, and of course, all in English. So if I want to add an event that will happen in the video, for example, a bird arriving, I just ask ChatGPT, okay, I just animated this result into a video with Elio. It's great, but I'd like the bird to be joined by other birds in the video. Create the prompt in English that lets me add this parameter to the video. The part we're interested in here is the part where the birds actually arrive. So, we'll take this part here and add it to the video. I just copy and paste it, and then I generate it. So, we'll end up with a character who has extra actions, with the birds actually arriving on the branch. A quick side note in the video, this artificial intelligence also lets you create actions by giving it images, including a photo of yourself. So I just gave it a photo of myself and specifically asked in the prompt for me to be painting in the picture. Here's the result, and honestly, it's really not bad at all because the photo is actually taken from the front, and yet we still get 3D movements with a perspective that's actually pretty good. It even picked up on the fact that I have dark circles under my eyes here. So I talked to you in this video about animation, but you can just as easily do exercises with realistic videos, keeping in mind that this video doesn't actually exist at all. The only thing I did was give it a single front-facing photo of myself. The rest is just standard editing. All you have to do is pick the clips you like, in the format you prefer of course, and put them together. As for the sound and music, you can absolutely generate music over your video using artificial intelligence. And just so you know, I've seen that there are now AIs likely to be available for free trial soon that can also generate sound effects to enhance your videos. So, you get a clip with both the video and the included sound, all in one go. So, for example, the character's footsteps or the sounds of the forest, these can save you a ton of time as well. If you're interested in music generation, there are 3 tools I personally like. Beethoven works well, there's Soundraw which is also good, and Suno, which works really great too. You can also use Google Studio, which also lets you generate music. I wasn't really all that convinced by it. So, as you can see, with free AI tools, you can already create some pretty cool little videos. I made a square format just because I wanted to make a GIF, but you can just as easily create portrait or landscape formats, and so on. There's absolutely no problem. Of course, the more pixels you ask for, that is, the higher the resolution, the longer the AI will take to generate the video. What's important to me in this tutorial is that you practice as much as possible, so go ahead and do it. It's really important not to buy prompts or use ready-made things. Above all, it's about letting your creativity run free, learning how to use an AI, understanding its settings and tools, and also realizing that if you miss a letter or make a mistake in your prompt, well, it's not a big deal. There are a lot of videos out there that fill your head with things like, you have to do it exactly this way, and so on. No, it actually works out just fine. Artificial intelligence is specifically designed to understand us as much as possible, including our flaws. We're not here trying to create, a robot. We're not doing research where the tiniest detail could make everything blow up. Let the AI guide you, and if you ever have any doubts, just ask the AI for help each time and everything will go smoothly. Feel free to share your creations in the comments below this video. Whether you're making music videos, stories, series, whatever it is, I'd be really happy to see what you come up with. In the meantime, take care of yourself and your business. Ciao!